Hello beans, welcome to Blue Bean Harvest number 5, brought to you by Roy's Radio with me, shell of a man, labelled Roy. I've just put a post up on Facebook on the Blue Bean Harvest group that we're going to look at the big picture today. There's a slow take up I'm aware of at Blue Bean Harvest group, and I want it to get bigger very quickly. So I'm going to go now into greater detail about all the important bits, I believe, in the sense of I'm suggesting why people should come onto this awakening group and why it's I was going to say the ultimate awakening group, but everything that we do in truth is it's just part of process for that individuated awareness. But look, let's come back. I want to go back into right to the very beginning. Think of the very first creative notion, and I think of hydrogen. You know, hydrogen is just one little electron spinning around what we perceive as a center of focus. No focal point, focal point. What's the focal point? Well, the focal point is the point of creation of the electron. And how does that work? Well, we have an idea, and the idea is created, and then the idea is experienced. That's it. This is creation, this is experienced. Okay. So that's positive, neutral charges as we perceive them, negative, the balance. So anyway, that's the atom, that's how it works, that's the creation. If we look at elements, think of elements, everything else is add, add, add. Add what we know, add what we know, add what we know. Everything is born of the single. Let me do something else. Let's take all this away. And I will put on the board, I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll put on the board something that's it's quite fundamental, really. 1 plus 1 equals 1. So why is that so? Why is that the only truth? Well, it's this. If you begin with that, and you're going to add this to it, that is that. So really all you've done is taken that and made it that to give you something different, but it's the same. It's just a different perspective. And when we think of our own mind, our own awareness, yeah, that's what we've got, isn't it? That's our conscious awareness. That just is born of more separation. And all these notions are representative of all the many, many layers of belief and perception and perspective accepted as truth that has caused each and every one of us as an individuated expression of the one, yeah, omnidirectionally, yeah, to where we are now. The awakening is working back from that position, but it all sounds a bit tedious in this world of instant stuff. So let's just start sowing some seeds of why this is worthwhile. Why I believe that we should all begin to focus on the big G. Okay, I'm going to do 2 poems again that I've already read, but we're going to look at them in slightly different ways. This isn't going to be too long. I've only got a little bit of power on the phone recording. So let's just rub some stuff out, and we'll start to look at the notes that I've made to give us direction as I sort of instantaneously think about what I'm going to say and then just say it, I suppose. So why would we bother? Why bother? There we go. Big G, why bother? The big G. Why bother? It's because ultimately it's what every one of us is leaning towards at this moment. If you're hearing this, then you're being pulled towards it. If there's an opportunity for you to experience this in your awareness, then it's part of your unfolding. From the position that you are, as you move, you can only move, until we pause and get a point of focus, and then we can make a choice. Yeah? Okay. And what we do is we're moving and we get a focal point and we make a choice, and then we move in a particular direction. And I'm suggesting here that we should move back within to get through the layers in a reverse way. So, what's the purpose? Well, the purpose, as I've just said, is to explore the nature of self. All right, and again, I'm just going to... A lot of people think about other people, a lot of people talk about other people, a lot of people criticize, judge, and everything else, other self. But what we need to be looking at is in the mirror, in the sense of contemplating us. Okay, and again, I'll come back to this in a moment. Okay, so that's the purpose. And what do we become ultimately? Well, as we peel back the layers and we embrace the notion of the truth of ourself as God in an individualized expression, nature-wise, it's particular nature, like someone's going to be a murderer, someone's going to be a politician, someone's going to be an artist, someone's going to be a warrior. I don't know. There's so many different things we do, isn't it? As we express ourselves in error, invariably away from our true self, awareness of our true self. So this is what we're working back towards. And what do we get to? What's the point that we get to? And this is where I come into bubble world again. So let's just remind ourselves about bubble world. Here to talk in rhyme, blah, blah, blah. So, know that all is just perception, flowing thought within a mind. Neither are you bad or evil, though you can become unkind. Love of mine has no condition, given freely here for all. Hear a voice inside it whispers, will you choose to answer call? Let me tempt you with a bubble, bubbles in the bubble space. Makes me think of all awareness. You can't see it, no disgrace, it being, the truth. So you've just got to turn towards the light. Know my thought as one big bubble. So, my thought as one big bubble. This makes me go back to one. But everything's interlinked. Where did I write this? 12/05/2023. 14/5/2023. 2 days apart. There you go. I am the one, the God Almighty. Hear me as I speak to you. You are me from head to toe then. Crazy, yet I say it's true. The one and only alma mater, breath of life, is bosom found. Know that I am all around you, stars and planets, air and ground. Knowing this, you claim your birthright. What is your birthright? Your birthright is the awareness, as you're reborn, into the truth that I am God. As you are God. We are all God, expressed in an individualized form. And then when we realize what we are, and we start to unfold ourselves and erase the nature of truth from ourself, we're just coming back and back and back and back within until we find our true self, our true nature, the truth of our being, and we achieve a sense of realization in the purity of the freedom that is just, I say untainted, it's just free, completely free. The freedom is absolute. There is no fear, there is no competition, there is just success in every moment, because there is a single appreciation of the truth in every moment. That everything is just the expression of the one God, which is the big G, which is me and you. Okay. So this is what Christ mind is. Christ mind then is that awareness of soul mind becoming fully free and open in the absolute infinite expanse of awareness of what I am. You are, we are, everyone is. Yeah? Okay. And from that perspective, then we can start thinking about our experience here as we move into moment by moment. Yeah, again, I've already tried to bring people back to the idea of day, moving away from, you know, all the other time frames we have. Let's just come back to the day cycle, this refresh and refresh. And in each moment that we're refreshing, yeah, we're having a new set of experience laid down in our path of awareness so that we can engage with the experience, and the experience will allow us to react. And as we react, we can begin to release any sense of fear, intrepidation, longing, desire, need, and just allow everything to simply be. And as we allow everything to simply be, then we can realize the innocence and the truth in each moment. Yeah? And that's all we do. We experience the divine expression, which is just self. Yeah? It's wonderfully free. So, from that moment then, if we think back a ways, and we go to an SN, disciple called Joshua Ben Joseph, who has relayed much truth in the Shanti Christo organisation through the book, the Way of Mastery, the Way of Truth, whatever it is. And if we go back to that, I'm drawn to the ideas of suffering in the world and healing, which is all based on a perception of self, ultimately, and that delivering the truth that you expect. And I'm very mindful of just offering the reality that is the perception of magic, if you will. So let's look back, a couple of thousand years to when an SN was successful in his transfiguration of self, so that the perception of all encountered was from a God perspective. So how does this relate to healing? Okay. When you approach any and all, everything is perfection. There can only be perfection. It's like on the front of Charlie's Guide. Everything is exactly as it should be, else it would be different. Things are always meant as they are. They're meant to be. Everything has the opportunity for change. Change is just based on a perception. Everything comes back to a single self-perception. Remember that. Okay, let's keep going forward then. So healing. So when we think of someone in perfection, when we think of someone in perfection, we experience that someone in perfection, then we are delivering that someone in perfection based on the love, the unconditional love that we express in that perception of other self. And we draw that perfection within them as a glow, as a healing, loving mechanism of truth. So to get to this point then, excuse me, we have to overcome the instant desire to begin to balance with the notion of self. And this is the immediate response of ego. And we need to be aware of this. In every moment when you, just be mindful of where your perspective is born from. Is it born from divine self, or is it born from ego self? Is it from small mind? What are the thoughts that you need to explore? And when you explore, you are your judge. Judgment found, the hand of God. That's you. It's the truth is just so simple. It really is so simple. You just have to embrace it. Once you embrace it, you begin your journey. It's like turn again, Dick Whittington. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, simple stories. So once you begin to become aware of truth, then initially the reality of each day can become quite challenging, as there is so much truth presented before you, and trying to maintain that balance in perspective, that God perspective, that unconditionally loving perspective. This is what I mean when I talk about Benny the Butcher in Gaza, killing everyone in Gaza. Look at all of you on either side. Look at you in Russia. Look at you in Ukraine. Look at you in China. Look at Tibet. Look at every awareness that feels oppressive, and understand how the layers come back, and then understand the innocence with which each turn and choice has been made based on a removal of awareness from truth, in the sense of who one is, right? Who one is. It's you. Okay? So heaven can be found moment to moment. Moment by moment. You can shrink down from a day, and you can begin to frame hour by hour. We have the 8 to sleep, and 16, 1 and 6, 7, to create an experience creation. Okay, so Remember that the word we hear is enough to change our being. Yeah? Today, be. Be yourself. What do you want to become? Behave. Or behave. I can only be what I have. What I have in my mind is what I display in my thoughts, words and actions. Behave. It's all very old stuff. So, heaven moment by moment. So what's the purpose? Well, the purpose is that we can then walk through this experience as heaven, because that's what it is. It's just our perspective that needs to be adjusted. Yeah? Even in the war-torn regions where there's just, rubble. I've done a piece of music I'm going to share about the war-torn areas in Ukraine and in the Middle East. Anyway, so that's the whole picture. There was a couple of things in the poem, and then I'll just get off. Come then, can we tempt another share with all the world we love? Walk into a stranger's being. Greet them with the grace of dove, Tao. Always will you walk as lovers neutral in the moments known. Yeah, this is what we've just talked about. Ask and know that all is given. Yours the truth in love to own. Sitting stillness with the body calm, the racing of the mind. Lose the thought of must and need to. To yourself be always kind. Entertain the one adventure. Yeah, this idea, we're all in the same boat. In this way, because of this, we can all afford to be more generous. Yeah. We can only give what we have, so the more we give reflects the more we have. If we have everything, then we can give everything. Yeah? Everything is free. I'll write that down somewhere. Everything is free in this world. I'm the madman shooting strangers. I'm the doctor saving lives. I'm the everything you hope for. All who fail, all who thrives. When you know, you then control the wonder of abundance found, as much for all as then for any, all the wonder from the ground. There is nothing that you want for, everything is free to share. If you only know your ego, you may find you just don't care. Grow the love that will sustain me. Share the love that sustains all. Peace on earth is heaven found then. Trust me, one will never fall, ever. So, yes, I think really I've done enough, said enough. This is not a game, and yet it is a game. It's meant to be fun. It's just the way things are. But it's time to move on from the unloving self. And the unloving self is born of the ego mind. And ego mind is very, very apparent at the moment. So, start to awaken and start to embrace the truth of yourself and start to see everything in a different way. Okay. Join and share. Please buy the books. Square still isn't set up. Just put some money in an account, send an email, and I'll send the books out. It's as simple as that. That's trust. What have you got to lose? Nothing. What have you got to gain? Everything. The whole thing. Very good. Stay safe, beans. Oh, 25. Look at that. It's not bad.